Hey guys, am I audible?
Yes.
Guys, I'm audible. Can you confirm?
Yes.
You're audible.
Okay. Okay. One minute. So yesterday, what we learned, guys? Yesterday, what we learned, guys?
Yesterday we have done this builder settings and all.
Yeah.
Whole SEM.
Build triggers. We have done the build triggers. The one more topic. One more topic. What you have done? A pipeline. Jenkins pipeline. Yes, no, guys.
Yes, Professor.
Yes.
Yeah. The basic pipeline we have seen. So today, we'll go for next topic. So I'm going to today take you through configure global security. It is one of the feature in your Jenkins. So today we are going to cover how to configure a security for your Jenkins. So if I say security, it means that authentication, authorization that we are going to focus. Okay, we'll see practically. I already created my Jenkins server on top of my CentOS server. And once you click on manage Jenkins, you can see a configure global security. Come here, you can find the configure global security. So here itself, how we can secure our Jenkins. Whenever if we go for any tool, any component, any technology, the first primary thing is security. How we are going to secure our Jenkins. Define who is allowed to access or use my system. Everyone can access the system. Suppose I am working in a project. In that, totally 15 members are there. There are 5 developers, 5 testers, there is a product owner, business analyst, manual tester, stakeholder, UX developer, everyone is available. Then it means that everyone is having the access to the Jenkins. Maybe everyone is having the access to the Jenkins also. But each and every, maybe in a Jenkins, we have a 10 projects or 20 projects. All the project can be accessed by the Jenkins, can be accessed by that person. That's the question. No, right? Definitely no. Maybe admin guy has all the access. But if we go for developer, they have some set of access. If we go for senior developer, they have more access. If we go for junior developer, they have limited access, right? So if everyone is having all the set of access, then what will happen? Definitely, the junior developer, if they do something, what will happen to the system? In that case, so we should understand how we can secure our Jenkins. Who should allow which resources that I have to access? We all have an access to the Facebook. We all have an access to the Gmail. Only limited, right? Only limited. But sometimes we will face the issue. In that case, what we will do? We will reach out to customer support because customer support act as the admin access. Suppose if they don't have a privileges, what will happen? Once again, what we will do? We will go for some other management in order to get the access. Right? In the same way, in Jenkins also, as a DevOps engineer, as a AWS engineer, you must know what? You must understand how to provide the security. Guys, there are two terminology you have to remember, guys. What is the difference between authentication and authorization? Anyone can tell me? What is the difference between authentication and authorization? What do you think? What is authentication? What is authorization? Do you know the difference? Basically, authentication, it is nothing but a process of verifying, process of verifying a user identity, a user's identity, user's identity. That's nothing but a authentication. Suppose if I want to log in my Facebook, we will give the username, we will give the password, we will click the login button. Suppose if you have done the two-step verification, you will give the username and password. After clicking on login button, you will get one OTP, you will put it the OTP and you can click on login. Then you can see the home page. That's nothing but an authentication. Authentication is nothing but it's a process of verifying user identity. It is used to confirm that the person or entity trying to access the Facebook or Gmail or any application, it is who they claim to be. It is typically involves like giving the username, giving the password, or other forms of identification also. Like maybe a biometrics or a smart card, whatever it might be. It is called as authentication. Am I clear what is meant by authentication? What is meant by authentication? Are you clear?
Yes, yes.
Now, what is meant by authorization? Authorization is nothing but it is the process of determining, it is process of determining what a user is allowed to. What a user is allowed to do once maybe they have been authenticated. They have been authenticated. Suppose if you work in a real time, you are using some application. You have given username, you have given the password, and you are clicking on login button. Now you can able to see the home page. This is called authentication. But you are working, maybe consider you are the new employee to that particular company. Thereby, you can able to see 4 features over there. Maybe you can see the customer's information. You can able to see order information, the product information, and you can able to see the cart information. Consider you can able to see the customer information in that e-commerce platform, and you can see the order information, and you also can able to see the product information, and along with that cart information also you can able to see. Consider like this. Because you are not a admin user, maybe you are like maybe a junior developer. You are the junior developer, but in the same company there is a senior developer also. But this guy, senior developer or test manager, this guy, he can able to see customers, order, and cart information. Along with that, in his home page, he can also able to see the payment information as well. Because the admin team, the DevOps team, or some other team, operational team, they have given the access. For senior developer, they can also see the payment information. So this is we can call it as an access, right? Junior developer can able to see only this feature, but senior developer can able to see multiple access. Then this is called as what are the resources that I can able to access. Process of determining what a user is allowed to do once they have been authenticated. After they have been authenticated. So this is nothing but authorization. Authentication means initially if I want to log in, we have to provide some credential. Authorization means which resources or what are the resources that I can able to really access. Admin user can able to access all those things, but maybe a normal person, they cannot access all those things. Maybe they have some privileges. They have limited some privileges. It is authorization. Maybe I can give you some good example. Suppose you are studying in a school. Like authentication would be like showing your ID card, student ID card to the student guard. Thereby, you are proving, hey, I am the student of this particular school. Thereby, you can able to enter into that particular school. Maybe that ID card that you are showing, right, it is called authentication. But authorization, suppose you have some limitation, right? Maybe you can go to your classroom. You cannot go to other classroom. Sometimes you cannot go to the library also. You cannot directly go to the headmaster room because you should have the access. You should get the permission. Then only you can go to that particular place and all. That is nothing but authorization. But the teacher, they can directly enter into the headmaster room. But you have to get the permission. When they give the permission, then only you can be able to go, right? So this is the basic difference between authentication and authorization. Once you can do the authentication, then only you have to go for authorization. Whether do you have a permission with respect to this particular resources? Are you getting my point? What is the difference between authentication and authorization?
Yes.
Everyone?
Yeah.
Emmanuel, Satyamurthy, quickly confirm.
Yes, yes. Understood.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, see, in the interview, people might ask us, what is the difference between authentication and authorization? That time I have to explain whatever that I told. Now, I have to configure the global security in case of Jenkins. If we go here, you can see the first authentication, right? Where you can able to see something called security realm. So it is one of the authentication mechanism. So security realm, it is an authentication. It is authentication. If someone is asking what is configure global security, it is one of the setting that control access to entire Jenkins server, including authentication, authorization. Now, if we go for security realm, see guys, here we have a different way in which we can able to authenticate. Suppose if I want to normally authenticate to the Facebook, we are providing the username and password. But if Jenkins wants to check, hey, who is going to access my server, who is going to access my application, there are different ways in which they can able to access their application. One way is directly providing the username and password. But the question is where that username and password is storing. That username is password is storing in Jenkins' own database. In real time, the people never ever they will use the Jenkins' own user database because of security reason. So if I want to log into this Jenkins, one way is using the security by using Jenkins' own user database. Or otherwise, we can go for some servlet container where you can store your user information. Thereby, Jenkins will check whether this user information is available inside the servlet container. Thereby, you can authenticate. Or you can create some LDAP directory. Thereby, you can create LDAP directory. Through that also, you can authenticate whether you are the real user or not. Or you can go for some group database. Or I don't want to authenticate directly, I need to log into. That and all that it is not possible in the real time. Most of the time, in a real time, people will go for LDAP. Around, as per my experience, most of the time I have seen LDAP. LDAP, it is the one way of authenticate yourself in Jenkins. This is one of the security realm which allow Jenkins to authenticate users against an LDAP. LDAP means lightweight directory access protocol. LDAP means lightweight directory access protocol. So if you have in your real time, in your work, if you are working in a project, generally, your information will be stored inside the LDAP directory. That total is given by company itself. You don't need to worry about that. What the company test manager he will do or manager will do, he will create an LDAP directory for you. They will create a credential for you. And that credential will be stored inside the LDAP. Okay, so if you select this LDAP, what will happen? When you want to authenticate yourself, the Jenkins, it will go ahead and it will check whether this user information, maybe consider Dinesh information is available in the LDAP directory or not. If the LDAP directory has this information, then only you can able to log into this particular Jenkins. Otherwise, you cannot log in. Here you have to give. This information will be given by your company itself. The company, they will give you what is the server URL. So the URL of the LDAP server that Jenkins will connect for authentication. And you can go for this advanced server configuration and all. Here you have to give all this information like root DN, user search base, user search filter, group search base, like that, different information. Again, manager also, the manager information also you have to give it. If you give this information, the next time onwards, when you log in, that it will check whether LDAP directory has this same information. If the LDAP directory has this information, then only you can able to log into this particular application. In the most of the time, in the real time, people will go for LDAP for authentication. Are you getting my point? Am I clear?
Yes.
Clear.
What is the one way of authenticate yourself?
LDAP.
LDAP. There are different ways are available. You can go for servlet container, you can go for own user database, or you can go for group database also. But most of the time you cannot go for other option. In a live production environment, definitely we'll go for LDAP. But for demo, we are all using the Jenkins own user database because we haven't created any LDAP directory. But in your real time, the people, they will create the LDAP directory and they will give you all the information. What you have to do? You have to click on this and you have to select the LDAP and you can give all the server information here. Am I clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Any questions so far? So security realm. So this is the one way to authenticate. It is for authentication. It is for authentication. There are different ways in which you can authenticate yourself against your data. The first way, you can go for Jenkins own database. We are all using this one. But in real time, we have an LDAP also, lightweight. Then third one, we have servlet container. Servlet container. The fourth one, group database. So these are the different way in which you can able to authenticate. But in a real time, in your project, if someone is asking, hey, how you are authenticating to your Jenkins, you just tell them through the LDAP directory. They have given the server URL, they will give you the search base and filter, manager DN, and the manager password and all. If you have any question, you can tell me, guys. Any question?
No.
So if you ask me how to create the LDAP directory, that's you no need to worry. The company will take care. How to create the LDAP directory, the company will take care. What the company will do, the management, they will install the LDAP server and they will configure the LDAP server. They will create the directory structure and all. They will populate the directory and they will give the user credential for you guys. Your data, they will store it inside LDAP. So that you no need to worry. Now, after authentication, after you have done the authentication, consider you have used the LDAP directory and you authenticated, you are the right user because your data is already available in the LDAP, thereby you can cross check. Your application will cross check, Jenkins will cross check. Now, what is authorization? I told you, right? Suppose in a team, there are 10 members that are working. Jenkins have many features. Everyone cannot see all the features. Based on their role, the admin team, the DevOps team, the deployment team, they will give the access. The operational team, they will give the access. If you are the senior DevOps engineer, you have to think like who should get the access. Suppose I am going to create one template. I know, right? So for you guys, I will give only read access. I will have the read and write access. Sometimes, if I think like Emmanuel is the leader, team leader, then I can give the read access and write access, both access to Emmanuel. But other guys, I will give only read access. It is all again based on the role, what role that you are playing. Whether are you the admin, you are really need that particular project, you are really need that particular feature, you are really need that particular access. Based on that, I have to provide your access. So that is authorization. Here, there are many options Jenkins provide to access your Jenkins features. The first one, logged in user can do anything. Suppose I am the user. Suppose if I log in with my credential to my Jenkins, then I can able to access anything. If I click on this one, consider if I am the admin. If I am the admin user and Akash, Emmanuel, Monica, Nikhil, Satyamurthy, all you five, right? You are the maybe users inside the Jenkins. I already added you people inside the Jenkins. How I can add? Say suppose I can go for manage Jenkins. Here you can see one option called manage users. Here I can create the user, right? You can click on create user. You can give the username, password, and password. Suppose I'm giving to Satyamurthy and I'm creating the user. Then I can go for, say, suppose we can do an example. Say, I will give here maybe Nikhil and password, something I have given. Something I have given. Right? And here some email ID I have configured. And if I clear the create user, see here one more guy, right? Suppose I will add one more user. Here I'm adding Akash and password I have given something. Okay. So I have given some information. Click on create user. Now, if I go to this dashboard and I will go for this manage Jenkins and I will come below, go to the configure global security. What I'm doing, I have selected logged in user can do anything. This is I have selected and I apply and save. Apply and save. Now I can able to see all the features, right? New item, people, build history, manage Jenkins by you. There are 5 options are available. Now what I can do, I can log out. And now I'm going to log in by Akash. Right? This is a user, another user. Now he also can able to see everything, right? Now suppose I'm logging out. I will log out. Okay. Now Nikhil. And he also can able to see all those options here. Now what I'm going to do, I will log in by admin user. So I am the admin. I will log in here. Now what I'm going to do, I will click on manage Jenkins and go to your configure global security. Instead of logged in user can do anything, what I can do, I will go for, can you see something called matrix based security? That I will click. What I will select, matrix based security. Here I will click on add user. I will add Nikhil and okay. I will add another user which is Akash and click on OK. Now Nikhil only can able to read. Akash, maybe I will give, right? He also can able to read. I'm not giving the administrator access. I'm giving only read access. Now let me apply. Let me save. Now I can able to see all the options. Log out, go to Nikhil. Then let me add. Okay, what happened? Okay, now see, you can see only 2 or 3 options, right? Because I have given only read access. I'm not giving the write access and all. You can able to see the people, you can able to see the build history, you can able to see the my view. You cannot create the job, you cannot execute and all. Are you getting my point, guys?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yeah,
sir,
yeah.
is it similar to the AWS வந்து IAM rule கரெக்டா சார் அது
Yes, sir.
அப்படிதான் சார் அது
Yes, 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 correct.
ஓகே ஓகே
Everyone clear?
எஸ் சார் எஸ் சார்
So that's basically we can call it as authorization. So go to configure global security, and here we have a different way of authorization. So in a real time, anyone can do anything. What it means? Even here I am saying logged in user can do anything. Nikhil also logging, and Akash also logged in. They can do anything. That also not a good, right? Because in a team, in a project, there are 10, consider like there are 10 users I have added inside the Jenkins. All can able to do anything means, then what is the need of the particular project? We have to provide some restriction, right? Suppose if someone is coming and deleting, what will happen? The entire system will be collapsed. So based on their role, based on their experience, we have to give the access also. We cannot give randomly, an access to everyone. Am I correct or not? That time, logged in user can do anything. It is not a good way of good sign, right? Anyone can do anything. It is worst actually. Anyone can do anything. It is completely waste. And the name itself, it is telling like legacy mode. Legacy mode means it's a old mode. No one is using as of now. Just a little bit. In a real time, you can find these two things. Either people will go for matrix-based security and project-based matrix authorization strategy. These two things you can go for. So matrix-based means this one. This one. Here what you can do, you can add the user, and you have different options right inside the Jenkins. Maybe source code management tool we have integrated, view, and you can execute the job, and you can run the job, and you can see the agent, you can see the credential. Suppose whatever the access that you want, maybe for a Nikhil, what I'm thinking like overall, maybe I don't want to give overall read access, only view access I'm giving for Nikhil, and only agent cannot be deleted by Nikhil. Agent can be created by Nikhil. Agent can build by Nikhil, and for credential only he can able to view. He cannot update. Like that, the management they will decide which access required by Nikhil, which access required by Dinesh Kumar, which access required by the Akash. Like that we can give it. Right? This is called a matrix-based security. But here also we have a problem. What is the problem, right? You know already in a Jenkins we can create many jobs. In a Jenkins we can able to create many jobs. If you give like this access, what will happen? For all the project it is applicable. But in a real time, if you are the DevOps engineer, you will not, or if you are the developer, you will not work for all the project. You will work for one or two projects. Right? That time, blindly we cannot give an access to all the project. For that reason, are you getting my point? Are you getting my point?
எஸ் சார் எஸ் சார்
In that time, we can go for this one, projects-based matrix authorization strategy. So here you can go ahead and you can add the user. Here you can go ahead, you can add the user, and whatever suppose you are giving Nikhil can able to tag the source code management. He can able to read the views. He can able to maybe update the run. And here again, if you go for Akash, you are giving right overall read access. Overall read access, and the right job he can able to delete. He can able to create. Like that, you are giving some access. Right? So now, even though you can apply it, even though you are applying, you are saving. It is not for all the project. It is not for all the project. Suppose if you are creating one new item here, say this is my demo 1, and it's a free shell project. I'm clicking on OK. Can you see here one option called enable project-based security? Enable. When you click on this, here you have to give. Here only you have to give. Add user. Here you are giving Nikhil. Click on OK. Nikhil can able to manage the credential. He can able to read the job. He can run it. Like that, you can give it on the project level. Here you can select any option, guys. You can inherit permission from parent ACL or inherit globally defined. Globally means global security that we define. Right? If you select this one, yeah, you can give it like this. So, am I clear? So, whatever that I have selected, it is inherited, it is extended from, it is copied from global security settings. Or if you want to go for parent ACL, you can go this one. If you don't want to inherit permission grants from other ACLs, you can select this one. But most of the time, you will go for this one. You want to get the permission from the global security, configure global security.
And what about this ad group? That we can mention the project name there in ad group. This person belongs to this particular group. Here, beside ad user.
This one.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So if you already configured a group name, maybe a group of members. So in your manage yours, individually I'm adding, right?
Yeah.
Suppose if you are giving right a test and I'm clicking on OK, and this group is not already available. If you already created the group, in the group, suppose if you are working in a project, maybe there is a group, there are 10 members there. I don't want to add individually. All the 10 members should get the access. Then you can go for add group.
Okay, okay.
Are you getting my point?
Yes.
Suppose for 50 members, I want to give the access. I cannot add 50 members right here. Nikhil, Sadish, Rajesh, Maunika, everything I cannot add. In a manage user, you can create a group. From there, you can only select the group.
Okay.
Everyone clear?
Yes.
Akash, Nikhil, Satyamurthy.
Yeah, clear.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So clear. So this is what you have to understand: the authentication and authorization. So if you want to authorize, there are different ways in which you can authorize. You can go for anyone can do anything, logged in user can do anything, legacy mode, matrix based security, project based matrix authorization strategy. Which one is the right way? What do you think? Which one you will prefer in the real time?
Mostly project based matrix security.
Exactly. The project based authorization. So what is the first one? Anyone can do anything. Anyone can do anything. Second one, logged in. Logged in user can do anything. Logged in user can do anything. Name itself telling like legacy mode. Legacy mode. Then fourth one,
matrix based.
Exactly. Matrix based. It is independent of your project. But if you want to depend on project, you have to go for project based matrix. So these are the different way you can do the authorization. Am I clear? What is authentication? What is authorization? Any question on this?
No.
Everyone quickly confirm, guys. Thereby we will go for next one.
No.
So this is not record as of. We'll see later. There's sometime, say for an example, there is a developer. He has written the code and he stored the code inside a GitHub. This GitHub, it is already configured inside the Jenkins. It is also already configured inside the Jenkins. Now, you do some changes in your code and you are pushing the code to the GitHub. Automatically, Jenkins will trigger the job, right? Yes or no? Automatically?
Yes.
Jenkins build will be triggered, right? Build will be triggered. How build is triggered? Through different options. Did you remember? Yesterday I told you. What are they? One is poll SCM. The second one, periodic build. Periodically, we can build. The third one is what?
Hook.
Exactly. Through the webhooks, right? Through the webhooks. These are the different options we have seen. Now, After this completion of build, you are running the build. Consider you are running the build. After build is running the build, definitely there is a report, right? Report will be generated. Report will be generated. It will tell like the status, whether it is deployed or not, whether it is the test cases or pass or fail, whatever it might be. Consider like there is a report got generated. Now the question is how everyone in the team, maybe consider in a project there are 20 members are working, 20 active members are working. This 20 members should see the result, right? Should know the result, whether my test case got pass or fail, or whether it's successfully deployed or not, whatever it might be, whatever the job that you are executing, they should know the status. How? For that, maybe you can configure automatic email configuration. You can set. Sometimes there might be your requirement to set an automatic email notification. Email notification you need. How can I achieve? For that also Jenkins provide some feature. Are you getting my point? Okay, sorry, getting my point? Hello.
Yes.
Yes, yes,
What
yes,
I'm saying, once the job is done, the people they are working in the project, they have to notify by sending the email from the Jenkins, my job is done, it is the status. Are you clear? Yes or no?
Yes, bro. Yes, bro.
Yeah. How to configure? How to configure that feature inside the Jenkins? So it is very easy, guys. See, same manage Jenkins option provides one feature called configure system. Under the system configuration, you can see configure system. You can click on this. You can click on this. Then, so this option anyway we are going to cover later, but my attention is you have one feature called extended email notification. Extended email notification. Here you have to configure. Whenever your job is done by the Jenkins, it will send the notification. It will send the notification to your email. Here we have one SMT server, right? Here suppose if you take Google, if you take Gmail, it has some default, SMTP server of Google, which is this one. Which one? This one, smtp.gmail.com. This is the default SMT server for Google. But in a real time, most of the time, you will not use the Gmail. You will go for Outlook, or you can go for some other place. Some directory you will use it. Here you have to give the server URL. The company, they will provide you Outlook directory, because most of the time you will get the notification through the Outlook only. That Outlook SMTP server. SMTP means simple mail transfer protocol. That you have to give it here. And everything has some default port number. If you take Gmail default port number, which is I think 465, I think is Gmail default port. So which is 465. Suppose if you take Outlook, that also has a default port number. So 993, which is SSL and TLS for Microsoft 365. Like that, company, they will provide you that server name, and they will give you the port number and all. And when you click on this advanced, you have to give the credential. Suppose everyone credential will be added here. Most of the time they will go for SSL or TLS or OAuth also. Nowadays people, they are going for OAuth also. Suppose I am configuring TLS or SSL, whatever it might be. You can add the credential. You can click on add and you can add the credential in order to get the notification. Then after that, whatever the content they want to type, they can type it here, where they can give the content here. The subject, the Gmail or Outlook as a subject name, right? That will be added here. So here what they have given, dollar represent variable, project name, whatever the job that we are creating, that is the project name. See, if you go for, I will tell you once again, leave. See, this is the project name. This is, maybe if I execute this one, can you see this is the build number? 1 minute, let me build it. You will get the build number here. This is the build number. And suppose if you go here, you can see the build status also. What is the build status? Success. It is the build status. So that's what you are seeing here. You can click on Manage Jenkins and configure system. Extended email notification. In extended email notification, they will give you SMTP server and the port number. When you click on this advanced, they will send you your credential and all. They will follow something, SSL or TLS or what they will go for. The authentication mechanism. Once come below, you can see the project name that will be replaced here. The build number, it will replace here. Build status, whether success or fail, that you can see it here. In the subject itself, you can find it. And the content, whatever the status, you can see it here. It is customizable, guys. Based on your requirement, they will type it. They will do all the modification here. So after that, they will apply and save. To email, right? That you can add it here. Here. Where is that? Yeah, here. Reply to list. Suppose if you have a default recipient, they will go for default means 4 or 5 members. Definitely, every time we have to send the email. That recipient will be added here. Based on your requirement, you can add it here. Based on your project. So if you configure this one, once your job is completed, automatically email notification will be sent to your email. So this is interview question, guys. People might ask how to configure email notification inside the Jenkins. What you have to tell? We have to go for configure system. Inside the configure system, you can see the extended email notification. Extended email notification. You have to give the server name and port number and a credential and the default credential and whatever the email that I need to send, that also you have to give. Subject and body, everything you can give and you can configure. Once you configure, right? Once you configure, when you create the job, suppose you have created this job, right? You can take this one. Let me click on configure. Let me click on configure. Now you can come below. Come below. Can you see something called a post build action? Here you can click on this and you can add this one. Email notification. You can click on this. That's it. If you want to add some more recipient, you can add it here. And you can apply and save. That's it. Automatically, your email notification will be sent from the Jenkins to your particular email ID. See here, it is telling it will send, email will be sent when your build fail or pass, whatever it might be, you can add it. Suppose if you uncheck this one, whether it's a pass or fail, email will be sent. Suppose if you need only your build is fail, then you can click on this one. Or if you want to send separate email to individual who broke the build, you can click. Suppose Monica is running the script. Only her should receive the email. Then you can click on this. Are you creating my point?
Yes, yes.
Everyone?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Any question? If you have any question, you can ask me.
No.
So this is the feature. You have to remember. So this is important interview question. So there are 2 topics that I have covered today. One is how to make your Jenkins users as secured by using the configure global security. One is authentication and authorization. I have covered. And along with that, how to set email notification once the build is pass or fail. I should get the email. For that, you have to go for extended email notification. Guys, there are different way in which you can able to send the email notification. One way is we can configure the SMTP server. That's what I told you. One is we can configure the SMTP server. If your company is using SMTP server, then using that you can able to send the email. Or otherwise, you can go for email extensible plugin also available. See, if we go for Jenkins and you know how to download the plugins and all. I can go for configure system and I can click on manage Jenkins. Something called manage plugin, already I told you. You can go for manage plugin. Here you can type email available in available plugins. You can type email. See, here we have email extension. Yes, email extension recipient column. This plugin is a sample to explain how to write a Jenkins plugin, and this is also maybe we can utilize. So there are different ways, guys. Either it is, but you can go for any plugin. Already in Jenkins itself we have a plugin. That's the reason we can able to see after clicking on configure system, we can see the SMTP server. Through the SMTP server itself, we can able to send the email. Fine. So you know what is configure system and how to configure the email notification. And that day I told you how to download the different plugins with the help of a managed plugin. When I teach you Ansible, Terraform, SonarQube and all, we are going to download multiple plugins from here. And apart from this, here this also I have covered global tool configuration. It is one of the important places where you have to configure the Maven location and all. If you want to configure your Maven, if you want to configure your JDK and Git, Gradle, so whatever that you want to configure, you can be able to configure here, which is called global tool configuration. So interview people might ask how to configure JDK and Maven inside the Jenkins. The straightforward question is global tool configuration. Using the global tool configuration, you can be able to configure. Suppose if I want to configure the JDK, you can click on JDK and you can go here and you can give the JDK name. Say suppose I'm giving Java _om. It's a JDK name. And you can either directly go for the internet, you can download, or you can uncheck this one and you can give the JDK location. The local machine JDK location or from the remote server. You can get the location and you can give it. Suppose if I want to configure the Git, you can go here and you can give the, not here. Not here. So here just you can live like this. Later, while configuring here, guys. So in the project itself, in the project, this is the project. In this project, when you click on configure, here you can see the source code management. Here you can see the source code management and you can click on Git and here you can give the repository URL along with if you want to give the credential, you can give it. You can click on add and you can give the credentials here. So, 1 minute. Is there any cancel button? Yeah, here we have a cancel button. Click on dashboard. So thereby, you know what is configure system, global tool configuration, manage plugin. This is later we'll see. And security, configure global security. Suppose if you want to manage your credential and all, you can go here. And if you want to manage your users, you can go this one. And the LDAP that you can configure here, the configure credential provider. Provider is LDAP. You can configure it also. So some other, the performance wise, you have to see the system log, you have to analyze your load, you have to see the system information about your Jenkins, everything is available under the status. Right? So these are not required. For ours, we need the two things, one is security and the system configuration. How to download the plugin with help of manage plugin. How to configure the Java and Maven global tool configuration. How to perform the email notification, which is the configured system. How to add the user with help of a manage user. How to provide the security, configure global security. So this is important. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 are important with respect to interview. As a DevOps engineer, you must know this one. Any question?
No.
Fine. So do practice today. So whatever that I told, like you also just to go through and read about LDAP, read about authentication, read about authorization, how to perform the authentication, how to perform the authorization. You just read a few more things, guys, with respect to this topic. So tomorrow, I will cover one important topic, which is master. I need at least 1.5 hours to cover this one. Master slave architecture. Very, very important topic. Master slave architecture in Jenkins. So this is, we will cover tomorrow. Master slave architecture. Fine. Fine. Any questions so far?
No.
Fine then. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.